But it just kind of brings to mind more than ever that this is a culture war, and the creative community needs to start treating it like one and fighting back. One way you can do that is to send money to this station, because the cat is your First Amendment connection. But this is the last one I'm going to do, and it's for the censorship geeks and also for the artists who are out there fighting, and it's called Archangel. Deliberations. What can be said of debris in the storm's wake? You clean it out in order to salvage broken people, broken lives, broken souls. What once was, litters like so much driftwood. That reduced even below ornamental level. Once the deadfall was significant, erasure is necessary. The ambulance won't come. It won't touch the wreckage here. In heart, I may have become a perverse Buddhist, toasting marshmallows on immolation's display. So be it. So be it. This wall begs to be torn down brick by brick. This candy fortress of you and yours and all your waxwork devices. I left it alone for a long time, stayed in shadows with lips buttoned, silent in worlds that didn't speak the language. A friend wrote me and said, the first step is to get rid of the garbage, all the garbage. Interlude 1. Early childhood memory, furious perpetual motion kid flails on green leaf pattern couch. Dad smacks me hard for this little impulsive transgression. Upholstery was a strange idol with unpredictable demands. Now bone hands and bruised head comes the time of cleansing. 2. Prince of Lies. I will no longer appeal to you with reason, since reason is too often misconstrued as weakness. I will no longer make appeals. I will no longer appeal. Interlude 2. Winter, mounds of snow. They must have been a year or 3 older than me, 2nd grade, 3rd, maybe 4th. I told them I was a scientist and I was studying quicksand. They threw ice balls at me. Day after day they would point and scoff, call me a scientist. Hey, scientist. Where are you going, scientist? Borrow your lunch money, scientist? Exactly how long have you been mincing words? Do you put them into pies and decorate them with chopped walnuts? Tell your major domo to hold all your calls. I've got a message for you wrapped up in a brick. This is going to be pretty, eloquent even, and studious. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Window smashes an E flat, my favorite note. Tell the dinosaurs the jig is up, at least in my house. Tell the ragamuffins they can indeed caterwaul all they please over whatever paltry gutter martyr. This will all be fitting. It'll be everything you worried it wouldn't be. I mailed your package straightways to the Sargasso stagnation of a dead pool. Sonar pings off the shell of your skull like ancient outmoded video games. Tell the old taskmaster he was right. Don't do it for me, do it for you. Lick the scutch from between his toes. Go home, lie down. Tomorrow you can sit in a chair, toss the cancer bag to bored wads of potential ripe for the crushing. Something along those lines will break eventually. Not to worry, the streets are full of rubes and their heads meet your demands, open-ended receptacles, tailor-made for impregnation. Tin soldier robot nods in time to master's plan. Facts are miniature slices of data we throw up as barriers to cushion ourselves and avoid reality. The numbers are relative. The explanations are relative. The numbers are staccato gunfire at night, around the corner, coming up the street. When the holes become apparent and the vision gains clarity, the house of cards falters, wavers, does a stunted air dance to avert oblivion. It collapses in silence, a million jacks and jokers screeching into the vacuum. They got the joke too late. Why the rube cross the road? The prophet on the other side was hawking the right flavored rhetoric. So much power in crepe paper division lines. They said you couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag, true enough, or a paper tiger, or motto, or principle. Excuse me while I jerk the wheel. Excuse me while I short-circuit your little machine, the one you thought was so maverick. Excuse me while I derail your political melodrama and cornhole your ideologies for the whole family. Don't squirm, it'll hurt less. Get that bowel movement out of the way first. It's called truth, and it makes things messy. Gather about, children. Honor the carcass. The carcass will give you food and shelter. The carcass will offer you validation. The carcass will chase primal fear away for at least 20 minutes. The carcass will be your best friend and eternal confidant. The carcass will hit you up for spare change. The carcass will provide hostile witness. The carcass will beg you to speak and demand that you shut up when you do. The carcass will be everything and its antithesis. I reached under the carcass's rib cage. It took a bit of doing. One must be careful disassembling the veins to cut the yellow wire first, the red wire second. I removed the soggy clump from the dead chest of the carcass. It was a pile of dead, dripping leaves. I've done time in many haunted houses. 3. Ascension. Your smile is a gift. What's the matter here? Interlude 3. Creep. I'm old enough to walk. I'm on my hands and knees. An afternoon sun smiles its way into warm patterns on carpet. I'm under the table, exploring intricate labyrinths between chairs, under chairs, the exits, the entrances, the varnished bridges and tunnels. I can't see my mother. Her voice goes on lazily in a phone conversation, the other side of which I can't hear. Sing-songy monologue. So I let him creep around for a while. Creep. I lock into the word creep, and I creep. I put action and soul into the thought and the essence of creeping. I'd never given this thought before. It's 11th hour. Your apocalypse on my screen. Holy epilogue, my grand finale. If you pull that foot in the door gag, you'll earn yourself a militant case of fallen arches. It's Pearl Harbor. It's sayonara for your everything. The door of unnecessary has been unlocked, and I found the paltry-ass belongings in your treehouse. They weren't spectacular. Even the threats were pale, flat, and uninspiring. So comes this final violent goodbye to you. A goodbye with the kinetic drive of my fist on a mission. The twilight middle finger to your pretty little picture, your fun and games, your soundtrack of an elsewhere world, your diligent happy ant cop-outs, your garbled rationales, your inexplicable line of thought, your flight of priorities, your superficial arcade vanities, your impetuous convictions, your atavistic concepts of might makes right, your pointing finger, your derivative and inapplicable black and white movie rehash, your also-ran salvation gestures, your mechanical stabs at self-preservation, your bows to the time-tested machine, your worn-out belief in all things durable, breakable, and with warranties, your marvels at the wizards of sleight of hand, your half-rights, half-standard, whole standards, your dripping regimentations, your boring trademark nonconformities, your staid contradictions, self-contradictions, life contradictions, your bold new world, your shining debacle, your squealing red-faced propriety, your artificial revelations, your rationalized acquiescence, your predictable anachronistic moral outrage, your learned, lofty standards, your rivers and tributaries of piss and jism, your rope motion strategies, your worm-ridden manifestos and pustules of should, the dead shoulds, dying shoulds, all the lumbering, brainless golems of should, the yapping, bootlicking dogs and ditto heads of don't, rigid don'ts, sterile don'ts, don'ts with their sleeves rolled up, meaning business, don'ts with angry Dobermans, don'ts with Bill Blass suits, don'ts carrying bayonets and numbers on the tips of their glorious propaganda, don'ts who don't take no, don'ts that stick to the floor, don'ts who say, do as I say, no, don't, no, don't, don'ts who use words like future life earning stream, equity, and absolute, and dreamer, and greater good, and trilateral commission. This is going to be interesting, pretty even. This is going to be memorable. This is the sound of the door slamming.